was in Labour before Peter Obi came in. And I love what Peter Obi told me. He said he wants to join hands with Nigerian youths to sweep out the sins of these old political criminals in Nigeria.
Elections are processes, but when you lose, you accept your fate, you go through the process, you accept the fate from the process, not intimidation and threat.
Can we remember men of integrity, like Zik, like Awolowo, like Tafa Borowa, like those Ahmed Bello? Where are they?
Right now, what we are focused on is what is ahead of us and not the side mirrors. Hopefully, in the Supreme Court, we will still trash them.
After the 2023 general elections, the APC polled a total of 8,794,726 votes, while the Labour Party polled 6,101,533 votes. Now, if you look, there is a distance and there's a difference between the numbers, but of course the supporters of Labour Party would say no, no, no. They won the election. And the APC will also tell you, we won the election and we announced winners. Let's go straight to our counterparts from the All Progressive Congress. I believe congratulations are in order after getting the verdict you would hope for at the appeal courts. But let's talk about the credentials and qualifications of your candidate, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let's look at their past political portfolios and their past positions, the way they've performed, and even the controversies still wrapped around your candidates. How do you respond to some of these controversies and allegations?
Our candidate has been was indeed elected senator in 1992 at the Third Republic. Then the issue of credentials, the issue of where he comes from, the issue of who he is, was not a question there. He won his election in 1992 as a senator representing Lagos after his retirement or his resignation from Mobile, where he worked for several years after his graduation from Chicago State University. And then contested election, won, was sworn to. Unfortunately, the Third Republic was truncated by President IBB, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. This same person was at the forefront of fighting to resuscitate our democracy. He was at the forefront of NADECO, National Democratic Coalition, who fought the military government to stand still. It is on record, you can go and verify. He was in prison, incarcerated before he ran out of the country, went on self-exile, and only returned when General Abacha passed away. 1999, he contested the election as the governor of Lagos State under Alliance for Democracy. He won his election fair and square, and got his ticket again at 2003. There was no question of credential. There was no question of where he comes from. Everything was silent there. This same man, his political antecedent is out there in the public. He has made a lot of strides. He has strived for this country. He has strived for democracy in this country. He has defended democracy with all he has gotten. The track record out there, we don't even need to quote figures. Go to Lagos State. I used to know Lagos during the military era. I knew Lagos when Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I went back to Lagos when Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the governor of Lagos State. I saw a stark difference from a Lagos that was a federal capital during the military era and in Lagos under a democratically elected government. And more so, one of the things we used to judge leaders these days are the people he can build around himself. This is a man that has built human capital. Those human capital they've impacted on this country positively in different sectors. We don't need to start mentioning names, but just to mention a few, we have the former vice president of the country, Professor M.D. Oshubaj, was a commissioner under Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have the current acting CBN governor, was a commissioner under the Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
I didn't join the Labour Party because of Peter Obi. I was the councillorship candidate at Abuja Municipal Area Council Kapusa Ward in 2019. And it was after then Peter Obi joined Labour Party. So Peter Obi joining Labour Party, let me put it this way. What is morally wrong cannot be politically right. How do one render services without the quality assurance? We are not talking of Tinubu, you have boys or you have this. No. What is going on in the country? When I look at you, they said he went to Lagos before Tinubu took Lagos State. You ask yourself, how old were you when you went to Lagos and Tinubu took over Lagos State? If you give Peter Obi the Lagos State you gave to Tinubu, that Lagos State would have been more than Dubai today. Let's check it. You cross-check, you confirm. It's not an issue of you build boys. Everybody build boys. Me, I have boys. You, of course, you have boys. Depending on the kind of boys you have. If you check Peter Obi is the one, he said he wants to take Nigeria simply from a consumption country to a production country. Check his track record. You flash back. When he ruled Anambra State, Peter Obi changed Anambra State. First thing is the concept, the thinking of Anambra people, he changed towards progressive track. Check Tinubu, you check Peter Obi, you will see there's a difference between the light and the dark. APC lost Lagos State. APC lost Kano State. APC lost FCT, Federal Capital Territory. The so-called River State that you claim APC won, I am yet to see a particular person, one man or one woman, that jubilated after they announced Tinubu as the winner in River State. So what are we talking about? You ask yourself, where did you get this vote? You said you win. When I see youths like me, you say you are supporting APC with all your heart. I do ask them, what is this ideology APC have that you think they can change Nigeria, take Nigeria to the better side? What do you think they have? What qualities do you think they have? APC produced Buhari. And Tinubu himself, at the time he ran inside, he supported Buhari.
First, he was talking about democracy, which is a very important pillar. The democracy we are presently enjoying is from Tinubu's strive.
It was not from Tinubu's strive. Let me put it to you, sir. I'm coming. Obasanjo, as a head of state, former head of state, in 1975, he gave leadership to Shehu Shagari. Democracy. 79. Yes. He gave leadership to Shehu Shagari. It was Buhari that overthrew Shehu Shagari. Now the democratic regime you overthrew, you have come back to do what? To reap. And you think there is what you call the law of karma. It must visit everybody. The law of nature. You can't overthrow democratic regime and as well come back to reap it. So what are we talking about? So it wasn't, I want to educate you. It wasn't Buhari, it wasn't Tinubu that brought Nigeria to democracy. It was Obasanjo. So go and make your findings.
Labour Party are just holding on to straws. If you are looking at somebody's capacity, you look at what he has done. I can't judge you based on what you say. I can judge you based on what I see you doing. Tinubu has done a lot in Lagos that we have seen. We have testament to it. But we can't see the same of our own Labour Party aspirant, because the same state he governed is still there. Everyone knows how it is.
Compare this performance of the current president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and let us imagine that your aspirant won the election. How would you want to rate the comparison?
Beautiful. In 2002/3, my president today being in court as a governor, they are accusing him servicing a foreign account that owns by him. Then you mention former vice president is the attorney general of Lagos State as SAN and others. Go to detail, go back and ask. Where did that matter end? I love his charisma as a president. Sorry to say this.
Thank you.
Yes, I need to be honest. I love his charisma. I love his courage. but he didn't have administrative career. These are very simple. We are Nigerians.
So can I know your definition of
Calm down. Swallow your pains and calm down. You will hear me better. Obi in question, being a governor of Anambra State, do you know, let us remove sentiment away. I'm not from Anambra, perhaps, but in Anambra there's a way we call an opiweka. It has become an incubation of training criminals. And that is why former governor then, Mbadunoju, have something they call Bakasi in order to sanitize this area, and every effort is abortive. During will be sorry to tell you this. In Opiweka, you will forget your bag. The criminals will tell you, see, are you not the owner of this? Obi in question, do beyond expectation. And that is why only being a governor of Anambra State make him to be sellable. His performance will be that upgrade the Labour Party. Do you know when Labour Party was formed? How many years it was formed as a party in this country?
So, do you know there's a difference between becoming a president?
Okay, let me get back to what he said. You will ask me a question. Swallow your pens. You will ask me. Well, let me get back to what you say. In terms of performance, that's why I said there's need, irrespective of being a leader, there's need of having what we call administrative career. Because he did not have it, that is why he continued using his voice of 20, 30 years ago.
He's talking of 20, 30 years ago. This same Tinubu he's talking about has
calm down.
9 female ministers, the first ever in Nigeria.
9 female ministers. Hold your peace. Let me ask you a question.
And he's talking of 30 years ago. Young people, the youngest ministers.
Do I ask you a question? You say 9 female ministers. Well, most of them are from Southeast. How many female ministers from the North? We are lobbying mind together.
Yes, we are.
Beautiful. You have given us 8 ministers. 9 female ministers, you underline them. 8 of them is from where? Can you list it?
8,
I say 8 from where? I'm asking. You say 9.
And
I ask you, 8 is from where?
They are from Nigeria.
Beautiful. If a leader is progressing in error, he can never achieve the results. The difference between my president today and the incoming president will be passé.
Which of the incoming?
Of which country? Of which country?
Wait, the election have not come to gone. You say they are in spring court. Do you know tomorrow? How about Hopus or Demma? Doesn't it happen?
I would say 100 days is quite a small time to put a brick and mortar achievement for people to see. I trust Nigerians. We want to see a gigantic building. The president did this, president did that. Yes, they want to see all of those things. But the president so far is laying down policies that will make the country a better place for you and I, irrespective of who you supported or who you voted for.
Can you share some of those policies?
We know what fuel subsidy is doing to the country, to the economy generally. There and then the president said the fuel subsidy has been removed. They will say the economy is biting harder. Yes, it will bite harder, but it will get tough before it gets easier.
How do you work for the economy to get better if the citizens cannot comply with you?
Excuse me.
How the economy work if the majority of the citizens cannot comply with your agenda?
You are talking about majority of the citizens.
Yes.
The majority of the citizens, the silent majority made their voices known.
Okay.
The noisy minority are still on the social media and on spaces.
That's
shouting.
how you started.
Yes,
Social media,
the noisy minority.
He says it's not social media again.
If it was a majority, I believe you. If 10 of you in this room against only me, I stand no chance. But because it is the majority, that is why you say everywhere is quiet. Yes, it's. Go ahead, sir.
You said 100 days is not enough to evaluate.
No, quote me correctly. It's not enough to put a brick and mortar achievement.
We are in the same direction.
No, we are not in the same direction.
Okay, I accept with you.
Thank you.
But 30 seconds is enough for pronunciation of subsidy removal. Who are you working for? It's Nigerians. The subsidy belongs to who? Nigerians. Subsidy removal to who? Nigerians. I believe there's a better way of doing things. Let me tell you that many has gone because of what we are taking. Come on. Oh, it will be better. Listen attentively. I know you might not
I was
understand.
having my time.
You
asked for
might not
observation, so I
understand
was
what
expecting
people
the
are
observation
passing
to be brief.
through. You might because you have a means of.
So
feeling.
let's allow him learn.
During the last administration, every year the government will tell us that they are paying a debt of trillions of naira because they are subsidizing the petrol for us. Do you understand? And if you look at petrol is a global product. It is not a product used in Nigeria only. We may have the crude oil here, but it is a product that has a global pricing like gold, diamond, and the rest. If you compare the cost of petrol, Nigeria and other countries, believe you me, you say before now that Nigeria is enjoying a very, very cheap cost of petrol. But the government is paying for all of these things. And the government is complaining that they have no resources to do other things for us. This is a fact on ground. You can fact check that.
Do you think the 2023 general election was free and fair?
The election, 2023 general election, was free, was fair by all standard of election observation. There are few issues or few skirmishes here and there which cannot be overruled so long as it is a human coordinated activity. I believe my counterparts here will want to mention, and there was an incident here, incident there, incident here and there. But are those incidents enough to declare the 100 and over, almost 119,000 polling units invalid or also not free and fair? International election observers were here. Our local election observers were also here to monitor this election. And most importantly, the umpire of the elections declared the election free and fair.
Okay, City Boy, there's something I want to add. Was it credible too? Because he said it's free and fair. Would you say it's credible too?
Before now, whenever we want to do election periods, once you stay, you know, okay, this state, this person is going to win by a landslide. But this election was not like that. With people losing where we thought their main votes were going to come from. Like Tinubu losing in Lagos, it was never foreseen that it would happen. Now, with things like that, is that not enough to show you that this election was credible? And imagine the difference between the two. Over 6 million votes and 8 million. Compare it to previous elections. We know that elections must have discrepancies, one or two. But I'll beat my chest and say this is the freest, fairest, and most credible election that has ever been conducted in Nigeria.
I know probably they are working for their money, but I advise them, if you want to work for your money, if the truth is 100%, you can at least, because of your conscience, you say 50%. So you exempt yourself from the law of karma, because it must surely come. If you flash back, you notice the report EU gave to Nigeria. He's indicting himself. He said international observers, they were in Nigeria, and EU were here. UN, they gave their own reports. And Nigerians also gave their own reports. So that is it. My brother here, he said that it's the most fair and credible election, that Tinubu lost his own stronghold. If Tinubu can lose his own stronghold and lost his opponent's stronghold, where did Tinubu get that vote? When you check, you will see that even the Osibanjo, that was the former vice president of Nigeria that worked under Tinubu, at the time he came out and said they have failed Nigerians woefully. Nigeria has gone to recession how many times in their regime? The product of Tinubu. So that shows his strong product. So now the way they failed, APC failed Nigeria during Buhari regime, made the whole Nigerians came out to say, no, they have met this man, Peter Obi. They have seen what he has done and his target, his mission for Nigeria, that Nigerians are coming out to vote for him. And I thank God they said he lost Lagos. They lost Kano. They lost FCT here. They said his social media supporters. And the same mouth is still telling us that APC lost stronghold. So is it the media? In media they did that, social media they did the voting?
EU was not the only international observer that came to Nigeria. UN report that you try to drag into this did not in any way discredit the election. Fact check that.
Did any of them discredit the election?
AU was also an observer. USAID was an observer in this election.
And me and you were observer also.
I'm just mentioning, you understand? This is, by all standard, this is an election that even in US, it will be accredited to be a credible election. For the first time, we are having this fewer number of votes. Shouldn't that tell you something? 1999, PDP alone scored 24 million. The total voter register was what? 2003, PDP scored 20-something million. Total voter register was what? Because then the voting was just manual. Do you understand? As we advance, our voting system is also advancing. 2023, we had the BVAS, the Biomodal Voters Accreditation System. This BVAS, if you are not a registered voter here, you cannot be accredited. And once you are accredited here, the total number of accredited voters and the total number of votes on ground must tally. Else that entire polling unit is gone.
That brings the question where Mahmoud Yakubu brought the result he announced.
Where
did he get the result he announced?
The introduction of technology.
As a matter of fact, 8,800 and something result is still blunt. And you don't know what is there, whether it's zero or one.
The introduction of technology has mitigated. The introduction of technology has mitigated a lot of malpractices.
Almost the entire observers say that the election is not free and fair.
I didn't see those observers.
Almost. Listen attentively. I would know Nigerians and we're here. Almost. And let me tell you something we didn't understand about politics. Today, it might favor me. Most of the PDP as of 2099 too, it favored them and then, and they are. Tomorrow, it might not favor you. By then you start crying because of vacuum you have created, vacuum of injustice. Ask yourself a question. That's one sometime I said, I didn't blame court and I didn't blame my president. I blame Mahmoud. Who is the chairman of this INEC? You are not under duress. In present of announcing the election in the hall, if not because we are lovely Nigerians, there could have been the same anarchy the way it happens at Adamawa. But this is a peaceful Nigeria. The current gubernatorial candidate of Kogi State, Dino Maraye, look at that reaction. And it's a man who cannot watch himself being robbed by somebody his mother. What I'm saying is there still any justice in the Supreme Court? One. Number two, would INEC change from old modality of behaviors? Oh, you are son of this, or you are son of this.
Let me ask you a question, especially Labour Party, since the honors of you, when you bring an accusation, the honor lies on you to actually prove it. Do you agree with the voting that happened in the southeastern part of Nigeria?
We are politicians here. We have never, either APC or Labour, have never made any accusation here. Because the law says when you accuse, you don't prove. I'm coming, sir. I'm coming. Just come down. Because I know you. We have not laid any allegation here that
but you are in court, you are in court to
I
prove.
I said that Peter Obi, he is still in court, Supreme Court, to prove to Supreme Court and to Nigerians
that he won the election.
Peter Obi said he is questioning the process that brought the result. So it's not an allegation. He is asking questions that INEC should come and do what? Prove the result they announced. That is not allegation. It's question.
Okay, without let me wait. It's going to be controversial. This is my question. Do you agree with the results that came out to the south?
Totally.
That gave Peter Obi victory with over 90% in most of the southeastern states. Do you
Then
agree with
listen
that?
attentively. Listen attentively.
It's a yes or no question.
Do you know the result in Southeast? Did not even favor the P2B the way you think it of.
He had over 90%.
From where? Mention it.
all the states.
He had-
Excuse me.
of-
Mention
of-
it.
of-
All the states.
Mention
He had
it.
over 90%.
From all the states.
For the purpose of record, let us start with Imo State and let's compare the APC and the Labour Party results. Let's start with Imo State. In Imo State, the APC scored 66,000 votes.
APC.
Yes, in Imo State. Labour Party scored 360,000 votes.
That's credible to them.
In Imo State.
It's credible.
In Anambra State, APC scored 5,111 votes. The PDP and the Labour Party scored 584,621 votes. That's the second southeastern state. In Ebonyi State, the APC scored 42,402 votes, while Labour Party scored 259,739 votes. And I think the next state is Abia, where the APC scored 8,914 votes, and the Labour Party scored 327,095. And I think I've mentioned almost, apart from Enugu, the APC scored 4,772, and Labour Party scored 428,640. Now, this is my question to you, sir. Do you agree with this results that these were transparent
When we are
results, that you
talking
won
of,
over 90, 80%?
I'm coming, sir. Well, let me tell you. I want to come in.
I want to ask a question.
You are asking a question already. You have asked already.
So the
Let me
question,
come in.
this is my
Political
question. This is
maneuvering.
my question.
Political
This is
maneuvering
my
is what you're
question.
doing.
My
Political
question, why
maneuvering.
are you contesting the results from
Let
other
me tell
states?
you. Let me tell you.
Yes, sir.
During the time of Obasanjo, Obasanjo won in Southeast.
Of course.
During the time of Yar'Adua won in Southeast. So now you are bringing up this question because P2B is from Southeast. If P2B, what you will see is that Nigerians voted for Obasanjo, they voted for Yar'Adua, and they voted for Peter Obi. Now I raised issue here. I say, why is it that PPC lost in Lagos, lost in Kano, lost in FCT, and the so-called River State, they claimed, INEC said they won. I have never seen any group or a person jubilating that APC won. I say, how did this votes come on? Me, in my dream, I used to ask myself, even when I woke up, I asked myself. So, but that is by the way, we are waiting for the Supreme Court to give judgment.
It's not about what Peter Obi got in the southeast, in West Imo, no. This is beyond that.
Go and check the record.
Tinubu is from Southwest.
1999. How many percent of votes did Obasanjo get from Southeast?
Tinubu is from Southwest.
Go and check
Are you discrediting the results
2003. How
from
many
the
percent of votes did Yar'Adua got for Southeast? Why is it that the P2B's regime, you ask how many percent they got? You did not ask for Obasanjo. You did not ask for Yar'Adua. It's P2B you're asking. Why? Did you vote for? You have been asking questions. Let me ask you. Let me ask you. Did you vote for APC? Why are you shying away from telling us the truth?
Because
I know
questioning the process.
The
Now,
result.
it's very clear that INEC has come out to say before the election, even though we have an appeal court judgment on that the elections were going to be, the results are going to be electronically transmitted. How do you feel when you hear complaints from fellow Nigerians who claim that your party has cheated them foul by actually not transmitting results, thereby leaving a room for a lacuna in the transparency process of the election?
Labour Party, after the election, is complaining about process. It's like after a game, you're trying to shift a goalpost just so that you must ensure that you score that goal. Where was Labour Party when this process was on?
Some of them wasn't transmitted. Like a place in 009. 009 have over 12,000 voting strength. And systematically, what they did around after one, my agent called me that look at what is going on. I went there to question and I can say after one in the afternoon, you have not commenced the election. What happened before they started posting names? Do you understand? At the end of the day, there was no election there. 009.
Where is 009?
009 Lube area.
Okay.
And the people were shouting that we must vote, we must vote, we must vote. At the end of the day, go and check 009, Kapasa Ward FCT. You will see that the result is open. It's plain. There was no voting. Now, what I am saying is that Peter Obi has done right by bringing votes, talking to Nigerians from the north to the south, from the west to the east, to vote for him. I'm coming, and they voted for him, and we did everything to do what?
My question.
To protect the votes, and we
clearly.
protected the votes.
Let me say this. Thank you for protecting the vote. Thank you for protecting the vote. Did you read the law? Was there any article in the law that said transmit this result electronically?
Did Mahmoud conduct this election, the last election, with incident form or electronic transmission of votes? Which of them did he use? He should come out and tell the court. He is questioning the process that brought that result. Peter Obi is not he's a Nigerian. Whoever that ruled your problem, but
I just raised a question now.
Show us
I'm
the
raising
process
a question
you use.
now.
Let's hear
Come up with the process you use.
You ask, is Mahmoud will follow or the law?
Thank you.
That's what you ask.
Yes.
The law of the country supersedes the INEC chairman. That's why Mahmoud is representing this law. Don't deceive Nigeria. My mother, listen. You ask here now, is it Mahmoud's word that we will listen or the law? That's what he said.
Yes.
And I ask you, did Mahmoud represent who? Mahmoud represents the INEC, and INEC is super watched by the law of the country. It didn't create a vacuum of political cue to person. Okay, if you don't want, that's what they tell you normally. If it is not digested to you, go to court. Can you listen to such a body language? They are lobbying you in your presence, and they tell you to go to court.
Where else did you?
No matter how hard you try, no matter how you blackmail, no matter how you curry the whole thing with emotions, facts still remain facts. Do you understand? When the Election Petition Tribunal was throwing out the cases or the prayers of Labour Party, part of the prayer was this issue of Constitution and Mahmoud's statements. It was virtually thrown out for lack of merit. What did the Constitution say? You cannot hold Mahmoud when you have the Electoral Act with you. The Electoral Act stated the elections will be transmitted. There was no mention of electronically or maybe witchcraftly or otherwise.
With almost every point that your candidate brought out being squashed, do you think you have a chance to overturn the judgment of the appeal court at the Supreme Court?
If you don't know the plan of Peter Obi, you don't know whether his plan, the main plan, lies in the hands of Supreme Court. Do you know?
There is a hope to Peter Obi to win.
Of course.
In the court. Listen attentively.
I like the fact you said hope.
When the tribunal strike, in fact, not only striking, throw away the case of Hope Uzodinma in Imo State, he proceeded to Supreme Court. Have you once believed in this country that fourth person can be the first? The fourth became the first. Have it once happened in your generation?
So we did it in Anambra State as well.
And it happens.
We did it in Anambra State as well.
So therefore, I'm taking you back, or today, that Obi going to Supreme Court, it is not by surprise. He's going there with fact.